Hello everyone. My name is Elise. Welcome to my channel. I hope you're all doing so good today. We are here to do my January TBR and I'm very excited because I love the new year feeling. I love a fresh reading year and I'm very excited for 2024. So we have a huge stack of books here and that is definitely related to some of my reading plans for 2024. So my goals video will be coming out a little bit later, but something adjacent to that is I am wanting to do more in the moment reading challenges, and that way I can keep a little bit of like surprise, some spice, all of those good things going on in my reading throughout the year instead of having a ton of goals up front at the end of the year and then feeling really locked in. So in that vein, the month of January is going to have a specific challenge for myself of reading only from books that I bought in 2023. Now, I've collected all of the books I bought in 2023 that I am most excited to read but haven't gotten to yet. Of course, there are a few others that I'm saving for other videos or buddy reading or doing other things with. So if you don't see it here, I still want to read them, but these are the ones I bought in 2023 that I have not been able to stop thinking about and desperately want to read. The other thing I'll mention is there are a ton of books here. I want to say there are like 15 or something like that. I will never read that many books in a month, I don't think, but the reason why this TBR is long is I am going to be doing a separate challenge with all of the books that I don't get to by the end of January. So that will be coming a little bit later in the year and you'll get to learn more there. But let's go ahead and get into the books. We're going to start with the ones that are more certain and then we'll get into the maybes. And basically this month we have just 2 books that are certain and the rest are all maybes. And it's because these are the 2 that are breaking the challenge rule. So I said a rule and I immediately broke it. But that's because I do have one buddy read in the month of January that I need to get to, and that is Hamnet by Maggie O'Farrell. This is published by Vintage Books. I will be reading this with my friend Kat, so that's why I need to get to it this month. I'm really excited to finally get to this book. I know so many people love it. I think I will love it. It is about Shakespeare's family, but I don't think Shakespeare is ever mentioned, and about a lot of the grief that that family experiences. I think most people know, but I don't want to say anything if you don't know. But yeah, I'm really excited to get to this. I'm sure I will love it. Honestly, this would have been a 5-star prediction, but I already have some, so I don't need any more. But yeah, I think I will really enjoy this, and I'm gonna try this on audio. I've heard that the audio is really good, so I will be getting to this one. And the other exception is the book that I have to read from my last book haul revisit video. So my book haul revisit video from December, which means I bought it in 2022, so it wouldn't fit, but I have to read it anyway. And that is Case Study by Graeme, Macrae, Burnet. I am so freaking pumped that I finally get to read this. All year in 2023, I was like, I need to find a way to get this on a TBR, and I could never do it. And now it is finally here. So this one's published by Biblioasis, and it is about a woman whose sister has committed suicide, and she believes that her sister did that under the influence of a psychotherapist that she was seeing at the time. This sister wants to go undercover and start seeing that psychotherapist herself and keeps a like daily journal of seeing him to confirm whether or not he was culpable in her death. So that sounds so intriguing to me. I cannot wait to read this. I'm very excited. So that is Case Study. So now we're gonna get into all the maybes. Lots of books that I bought in 2023 that I cannot wait to read. First one is another one that I've talked about a lot in relation to Case Study because I frequently wanted to get to them throughout the year. And that is W3. This is by Bette Howland and it's a memoir. It's published by a Public Space Books. And I picked this up earlier in 2023 when I was at a book event with indie publishers, and I've been looking forward to getting to it ever since. It is about her experience being in a psychiatric ward. Her ward name was W3, so that is why the title is W3. And this was originally published in 1974. And honestly, these have a similar bent on psychotherapy in some way. But yeah, I think this will be very harrowing, and I'm really excited to get to it. So that is W3. Next up, we have Mrs. S. This is by Kay Patrick, and it's published by Europa. And this one, I think, is supposed to be really rompy. It's kind of dark academia-esque, and it follows a woman, I don't remember her name. I don't know if it gives the narrator a name, but our narrator starts working at an English elite all-girls boarding school. While she's there, she ends up falling in love with the headmaster's wife, and they start having an affair together. I think that sounds fascinating. Love the cover and can't wait to get to this. Next, we have The Book of the Most Precious Substance. This is by Sara, Gran, and it's published by Dreamland Books. This one is about sex magic, I think. So I'm pretty sure it follows a bookseller who ends up getting roped into this quest for an extremely rare book that has instructions on how to do sex magic. And whoever has this book would be extremely powerful. And yeah, she gets roped into trying to find it with someone else. I've heard great things about this and think it will just be fun. Clearly, like this in the last book, like I'm needing some fun reading in my life to start off January. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. And I love the size and how floppy this is. So that's just a side note, but that is The Book of the Most Precious Substance. Next up, we have Far from the Madding Crowd by Thomas Hardy. This is a classic, of course, and I should say my edition is a Wordsworth edition, which I really, really love. So cute and precious. I have been having this itch to come back to classics lately, and this is the next one I really want to get to. I had it on a TBR before. A lot of these were on TBRs, and then I didn't read them. So they're showing up again. Second time's a charm, hopefully. Sometimes third time's a charm for some of these. This one follows a woman who finds herself in a love triangle, trying to decide who she's gonna marry. And I'm really excited. I've heard great things about Thomas Hardy's writing, obviously, but I've never read him before. So really excited to get to this. I do think I'm going to listen to this on audio. I think this will be my audio for the month because the text is super small in here. So this will be my audiobook listening for the month of January. So that's Far from the Madding Crowd. Next up, we have My Work by Olga Ravn. This is the author of The Employees, and it's translated from the Danish by Sophia Hersi Smith and Jennifer Russell. This is published by New Directions, and I love The Employees, and I definitely want to get to this. This is a book about motherhood, and it has different formatting within the book itself. I think there are some parts that are like poetry, like you're seeing there, and then there are some that are more like regular prose, and then there's like diary log entry style ones as well. So really fascinated to get to this. The Employees was also had some experimental formatting in it, and I really enjoyed that. And I've heard that most people like this even better. So plus look at that cover. It's so gorgeous. So that is My Work. Next is a short story collection, and that is Peach Pit, 16 Stories of Unsavory Women, edited by Molly Lewellen and Kristel Buckley, and it's published by Zank Books. This is exactly what it says on the cover. I love a good short story collection, and I've been reading others throughout the year, mainly Sherlock Holmes ones, so I haven't had a chance to get as many as I would like, but I definitely want to prioritize this one, so putting it on this January TBR as the extra little kick to get to it. But this has a bunch of well-known authors in it. It has Deesha Philyatt, it has Lauren Groff, it has Megan Giddings, I loved Lakewood, has Vanessa Chan, Allison Rumpet, more and more and more and more. So I'm sure it will be fantastic. So that is Peach Pit. Also love it. Love that cover. All right, next is Ex-Wife by Ursula Parrott. Ursula Parrott, not sure. This one is published by McNally Editions. The next one is as well. It is about Peter and Patricia, who seem to have the perfect marriage, and I should say it takes place in 1924, and they are the envy of everyone around them. But one day, her husband tells her that he is leaving her, I think for another woman, and she now becomes the ex-wife. And she has to find a way to navigate life with this label hanging over her head in the 1920s when it is very detrimental to her. So yeah, I think this is going to be such a fascinating read. I don't often read literature from the 1920s, so I think this will be a great pick for me. And the second McNally Editions book that I will be putting on the TBR is The Feast by Margaret Kennedy. This cover, I mean, maybe that's why I want to read these all so bad, because the covers are stunning. This one I picked up a little bit on a whim. I was book shopping while I was a little bit tipsy, and I picked this one up, but I'm still very excited to read it. This one takes place in 1947 in a seaside village, and Cliff basically comes tumbling down and destroys a local hotel. As all of the survivors start telling their stories, a bunch of secrets start coming out. And it says that it's a modern upstairs downstairs comedy, and I love those like upstairs downstairs novels where it talks about kind of the more elite society and then the people who are working for them. I think that's fascinating, so I think I will really enjoy this one. So that is The Feast. All right, next up we have Blackouts by Justin Torres. This is published by FSG, and it won the National Book Award this year. I recently picked this one up at the Portland Book Festival, so you might have seen it in that video, and I have a lovely signed edition, so thank you, Tim, for doing that. And this is basically like one long conversation between the two main characters, and it intersperses text of this old book that was found, Sex Variants, A Study of Homosexual Patterns, and it has redacted versions of that text in here, and it's playing on some of the original historical events around that book in this novel. I've heard it's fantastic, and I definitely want to get to it, so hopefully this will be the push that I need. And again, cover amazing, it's so good. All right, next we have Venomous Lumpsucker. This is by Ned Beauman, and this one is published by Soho. And it says that the venomous lumpsucker is the most intelligent fish on the planet, or maybe it was the most intelligent fish on the planet because it might already be extinct. Nobody knows, nobody cares except for two people. Mining executive Mark Halyard and animal cognition scientist Karen Ressant are thrown together to pursue the lumpsucker across strange landscapes of near-future Europe. A nature reserve full of toxic waste, a floating city on the Baltic Sea, the lethal hinterlands of the totalitarian state, but on the way find themselves drawn into a conspiracy far bigger than one ugly fish. I can't wait. It's a sci-fi novel. I've been wanting to read more climate fiction, and this one I've heard is a really good one. I am not going to even say it again, but look at it. So that is Venomous Lumpsucker. And then we have two nonfiction books that have been on numerous TBRs, and I have not gotten to them yet, but they're 5-star predictions, so I need to start getting to these because I try to do a round of 5-star predictions from like March to April every year. The ones that I have left I need to be getting to, so in April this year I can do a new round of them. So the first one is In Vitro by Isabel Zapata, translated from the Spanish by Robin Myers, and it's on longing and transformation. This is about the author's process going through in vitro fertilization, and about motherhood and the challenges of infertility, all those things. I know I will love it, so I just need to get to it. And the next one is Wanting, Women Writing About Desire, edited by Margot, Kahn, and Kelly McMasters. And this has essays from lots of lovely people that I have enjoyed reading from before. It's published by Catapult. And again, I know I will love this. I just need to get to it. Those ones are going on yet another TBR in the hopes that I finally read them. So these are all the books that I'm hoping to read in January. Please let me know if you've read any of these or if you're interested in any of them. And I will see you all in the next one. Happy reading!